If you like talking,
Women.
Ladies,
men,
topic,
Conversations.
and occasional uninformed politics,
multiple talking women is for you.
hit it!
Ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, welcome to the Multiple Talking Women podcast. I am one of your hosts, the incredible Lana Brown.
I'm another one of your hosts, Felicity Bramblebush. And can I just say that was a particularly P.T. Barnum style welcome to the podcast today.
You do
Life
seem, you
is a
seem like a
circus.
big circus fan.
I'm a huge circus fan. I love
Sure
it. No,
you
I'm
are.
in full support of it.
And we've got our producer sitting over here.
Hello, Paula Gherkin.
That's right, Paula.
I didn't give myself a, like you did, a fabulous, fantastic. I didn't know we were naming ourselves, giving ourselves adjectives.
Well, at some point, we should probably introduce our very
Sure.
special guest.
Sure.
Yes. we
Now, you
should.
can give her an adjective, because that's polite.
Would you call her luminous?
I will call her emollient, luminous, ebullient, which means sort of bubbling with joy up from the inside and
Yeah.
it's coming out. And also like a wow factor. Look at her.
Ginger Gonzaga.
Thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I'm learning so many new words. This is great.
Yeah. Lana has a lot of vocabulary, for sure.
We are learning so much on this show from our guests, and I just can't even begin to fathom what we have to learn from you. You exude fun.
Oh,
Like a lot of fun, right?
Have you heard that before?
sure. I guess that would be like the euphemism for it, for mental illness.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't go there because I know people like that. But you actually have your shit together.
Oh, thank you.
Because you wouldn't be able to do the magic that you do without having your shit together somewhat.
Oh, thanks.
But I'd
Somewhat.
say you have a quirkiness that really serves you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay, let's get into it. So here, I really like getting in from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So is your real name Ginger Gonzaga?
My name is Ginger Gonzaga.
You were
Yes.
born with that name.
Yes.
Middle name?
Tap, which is a surname. But it kind of sounds like Ginger Snap, so that's fun.
That
Very
is
fun.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that is like
Yeah.
Harley Quinn style.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
And I say to myself, what kind of fun parents did you have that said, this is what we're naming our kid? Because that's a really great name.
Well, I was named Ginger because I was conceived in the Philippines, which my parents told me too often.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't need any more details, but there's a ginger flower in the Philippines. I don't know if it was involved, if they were looking
Were they
at
in a
ginger
They
flowers.
might have been in a
They're in
field.
a field
Sure.
of ginger flowers.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
My son was conceived in a bathroom,
Oh,
and I'm actually
Oh.
not joking. But anyway,
yeah.
yeah. On Thanksgiving
you-
Day.
What did you cut the umbilical cord with the lid of a tuna can?
Ha! That would have been good.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Back up. Thanksgiving Day. Were there
Yeah, were there
people in your
guests?
were there guests?
Yeah, because I had to take a pill to get the ovaries going fast, and there was like 2 days that we had to do it, and one fell on Thanksgiving Day. So my husband or partner
Okay.
was out with the turkey baster basting, and then I was like, "Come on in and baste me with your turkey juice, turkey man."
But in the bathroom. You
Yeah, I
couldn't-
think-
I mean,
Yeah.
you could have gone into a bedroom and shut the door, no?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, all right.
Anyway, it was great. But back to you, the ginger. So in the Philippines,
I guess that's where I was conceived. Yes,
you weren't born
by
there.
a Dutch mother
Or you
in the
were born.
Philippines. I wasn't born.
a
there.
Dutch
were
mother.
And why
Yeah,
do you
my
think they
mom's
wanted
Dutch.
to continually remind you of where you were
Don't
conceived?
know. Maybe because I was like, why was I named Ginger so often?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think
they were proud.
Maybe they're very proud. Maybe it was the last time they ever had sex, so they just kept thinking about it. You know,
Yeah.
it was top of mind.
Yeah. Do you feel like they didn't have a very sexual relationship when you were
I don't
growing
know.
up?
I'm-
you don't know.
I'm glad to not really
That's
know.
great. That is
Yeah.
probably good. Okay, so you grow up where
Ginger
where,
Tap.
Yeah.
Well, who does Tap come from?
Tap is a Dutch last name.
Okay.
Yeah, and the last name is fun because my Dutch grandpa, when he was like 8 or something, he and the rest, it's like very like not Great Gatsby, Great what's an old book that starts with a G?
Oh, the great
about the Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
Grapes of Wrath.
Grapes of Wrath. It's very Grapes of Wrath. And whenever I think about it. But my grandpa, like, when he was like 8, he and his 4 brothers and sisters got put into like a pickup truck and because they were orphans and they just got sent off they all got sent to like a different family member and then never saw each other again. And so my grandpa was friends with or lived on a farm and became like a farmhand for his aunt. But then when he was in World War II, weirdly, my Dutch grandpa was stationed in the Philippine Islands and they called the last name Tap and 2 people stepped forward and it was his brother.
Whoa!
And they were like, were you orphaned and then put in a pickup truck and delivered to random family members? He was like, yeah, me too. And so weirdly, they reconnected.
He found a brother.
Yeah, he found his
What
brother.
are the odds?
Holy
I
moly.
know.
Did he ever
God.
find any other family members?
They seemed to know them as we were adults somehow
Okay,
living.
they
yeah,
figured it
so
out.
they figured it out.
And you
Wow.
are literally the fruits of the labor.
I am
you're
the fruits
you're
of-
the grapes of not wrath,
non-wrath.
of joy.
Yeah,
Sure.
Of comfy,
Wow.
God,
cozy
this
grandpa.
entire story.
I'm
watching-
my family's from Austria, neighbors.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
to the Philippines.
No, no, for the
just
Dutch, for the
kidding.
Dutch people,
Yeah,
right? Isn't Austria near the Netherlands? You don't know. See,
I
you
mean-
don't know anything about this woman. Doesn't know maps. She doesn't know anything about the world. She stays in her little Pasadena.
I have seen a map.
Oh, you
I,
live in
I have
Pasadena.
seen a map.
but you don't
once,
agree
but
with
I
it
don't.
because you don't think that's what it is. You don't think the world's round.
No, why would I? It doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
Okay.
But gosh, Ginger Tap, I can't get enough of this name. It's like Gypsy Rose, like a little
Yeah.
Broadway scrappy kid who's
Yes.
gonna make it against all odds.
Broadway character or victim of a mom who's the Gypsy Rose with the
Right, who wants
with
a-
the-
Oh.
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
Right.
Munchausen, but
Munchausen
yeah,
by
yeah,
proxy.
mom.
To
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
their
yeah.
That's
kid
a
at their
topic that we
house
hit on
Yeah.
frequently on this
Forever?
show. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we
Oh,
do.
yes,
It does
yeah,
come
it comes
up.
up.
It does come up. It does come
Comes up. Okay, so all right, can I get to the questions I like
Okay,
to ask
fine.
now?
I guess
Sure.
I just want to say I have lived in both the Netherlands and also
I
in
know.
Austria because I've lived everywhere.
Oh, but not the Philippines.
Yeah, I've passed through.
You passed
She's
through.
been everywhere,
Yeah.
or everywhere, as she likes to say.
Everywhere.
Well, it's
Okay.
multiple places, so why
Sure.
would it be just
Sure, sure,
singular
sure, sure,
everywhere?
sure, sure.
Did you have professions in all of those places?
Mostly journalism.
Oh.
And so many incredible, mostly intellectual skills.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
Felicity's the same, I'm guessing. I'm kidding.
No, I don't care to travel.
Okay.
I
She likes,
I love America.
Yes.
Why leave?
Yes.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, she always says America's perfect,
Mhm.
just
Oh,
as it is.
Just
Oh.
like me.
We're working on it.
Okay, so you're little Ginger Gonzaga. Where
Yeah.
are you born? Where did you grow up?
Modesto, California.
Really?
It's the 5th least educated city in the nation, 6th most depressing, car stealing capital, and one of the 4th dirtiest or something. The 4th dirtiest.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, it's a great,
wow.
great place. But we make 2/3 of the world's almonds.
2/3.
Wow.
2/3.
Wait for it,
Facts
folks.
that you're dropping are
Yeah.
kind of mind blowing.
Surprising
Yeah.
amount of facts.
Are you?
coming out.
Are there any other celebrities who call Modesto their home?
Jeremy Renner.
Big one.
Yeah, George Lucas, Timothy Oliphant,
Whoa.
Gary Condit.
Wait,
Yikes.
how,
Who killed
how,
Sean? No, he
They-
didn't kill Sean.
how does
Connery.
that many entertainment
Peterson.
people? I guess that's why, because they say
Scott
you grow up,
Peterson.
you grow up in someplace crappy. You go like,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna escape
You
to the
gotta do
movies,
something.
or
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
it
write
could, it could also
something.
be in the almonds.
Yeah.
It could be in the
Actually,
almonds.
there's mostly meth in the almonds. A lot of people lost their orchards to meth seeping into the water. And
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
A second.
Meth dominant.
I've thought about that's where you'd go then, because I have thought about getting into the meth business. Is
You
that
have.
where you'd go to Modesto?
Yeah, you would go to
Just because it's a
Modesto.
lot of money. There's a show about it.
You've seen it.
There's a
yeah,
TV
yeah,
show
yeah,
about
yeah.
it. Not
Mhm.
Modesto,
I
but
feel like
about
you have a
making
good
meth.
personality to keep it all organized.
I think I
She
can
will
keep
be
it
organized.
Yeah.
Modesto.
Modesto.
So, all right, so you grow up there. At
Yeah.
what point? This is always fascinating to me. At what point do you go like, I want to be on the stage, or I want to sing and dance, or I want to be a star, or whatever made you, kind of who you are today as a performer?
Yeah.
When did that shine its light?
I think Modesto is so boring that you have to entertain yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I was always dressing up in character. I was doing unsolicited performances a lot.
Nobody
for whom?
that nobody wanted.
Literally, like strange neighbors. Like I would dress up as my Lola, my Filipino grandma, and just knock on people's doors and then start performing as this elderly Filipino person. Or my friend and I, my one creative friend in Modesto, we would get giant refrigerator boxes from the grocery store for free. You could just ask them.
Sure.
And then we would decorate these giant things like characters, and then we would stick our bodies inside them and walk around giggling because you can't see out of them. And then we would just knock on people's doors
And like
and
talk
just
in these boxes.
Yeah, we would like stay quiet inside them, and they would see these giant creatures.
Wow.
We just thought it was so funny.
That,
And
to
then-
me, that's like mastermind level. My mind is blown.
Yeah.
we would just be giggling inside, and then eventually start talking.
Does anyone else need to hear this character, grandmother character?
I was
Very
gonna
bad.
ask.
Oh, my grandmother.
There you
She
go.
says a lot of things like, "Oh, Jin, did you get your menses?" Because she wants to know if you got your menstruation.
Oh.
And you're like, you're 7 years old. Do you have your menses? And she often told me she had 8 children. So now, Jin, she calls me Jin. I am Bridget. Yeah, she told me that a lot.
She is what?
She's frigid.
Frigid.
Yeah. It was great. I had a trundle bed. So she would come in from the
Love a
Philippines.
trundle.
And I would be like 6 and she would be in the trundle bed and I'd be there and she was the dean of the University of the Philippines, but she loved the National Enquirer. So she'd always have the National Enquirer and she'd be like, Jean, Elvis is still alive. It's terrifying.
Wow.
So I'm like 6.
She bought into all the conspiracies.
Oh yeah. There's Bat Boy and you have to be careful about him because he could eat you.
Wow.
But so keep your eyes open. And then she'd also slip into like really genuinely horrific stories about the war. So you'd just be like, wow. You
it's a
hid
lot.
behind mountains to escape insurgents. And also Elvis is alive.
Right.
Yeah.
But such a great character education.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
From early on.
Well, and she was helpful because I didn't know anything when I auditioned for the Groundlings school. And so when Jeremy Rowley was running my audition, I just played my grandma. I just did my grandma
Oh,
character.
that's perfect. Wow. And she was the head of the school?
Yeah, she went to college like later. Like she birthed like 8 kids and then she got her education and then she was the dean of the university there. It's just, but then out in America, she was all my cousins' nanny and stuff.
Oh, I relate to this. You know, having many children and then going on to, I could probably be a dean.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How many
Ginger.
children do you have?
12.
12.
Mhm.
How is your body doing?
Yeah, would you say you're frigid like Lola?
I don't consider myself frigid. No.
Well,
I'm
you're
not.
frigid by choice because your husband's not interested.
Well, thank you, Paula.
It's true.
But I get a lot.
It's good for women
I
to
get a
discuss
fair
these
amount of
things.
attention.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I walk by the high school and I see the boys.
Yes.
And they're checking you out or you're checking them out?
Well, I check them out. When I check them out, I notice them checking me out.
High school boys are sexy. Usually on television, they're like in their 30s. So you
Yes.
can say that.
That's true.
Sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. The
Yeah.
Friday
And then
Night
their
Lights
moms
of it
are
all.
also in their 30s on television.
Yeah.
That's,
Yes.
Can I say one thing?
You don't want to talk about high school kids or?
No, I do, but I want to go back for a minute to trundle beds. Because when I was a kid, and even today,
You
I
had
say
a
to
trundle
myself,
bed.
we had a trundle bed in one room. Why doesn't everyone have a trundle bed in every room? This is just a general. If you're an adult and you have a choice of a bed, why wouldn't you choose a bed that has a bed underneath?
Yeah,
Because
Gotta buy
you
another
could always
mattress.
use it.
that does make sense.
You can always use it.
Or a big dog could lay on it.
Or a big dog can lay on it. You could do whatever you want with it. But I just always thought this is insane that these beds exist and not everyone has one.
God, I agree. Every single bed in my house has a trundle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly because I'm terrified of a
That nobody can
psycho
get under
killer
there.
is
Yeah,
hiding under
makes
there.
sense.
Yeah.
You know, there's triple trundles I've seen.
Stop.
Yeah, it's like the bed, and then trundle for the trundle.
Wow.
It's a thruple trundle.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I'm
Ah.
going to check into that.
By the way, I'm watching the show right now From Couple to Thruple
Oh,
on Netflix.
I would like to watch that.
It's very
that
That
sounds
interesting.
sounds fun.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
get back to it. So, little Ginger doing character, showing up on doorsteps. We're
Inside
lucky. We're lucky you
refrigerator
weren't
boxes.
taken. We're lucky you
Oh,
weren't put in
yeah.
the basement. You know,
Yeah.
and kept as a prisoner.
That's great.
And then, so what point does it become not just knocking on doors and doing your grandmother, but going like, hey, I want to go do a play, or I want to go, come to LA, or
Yeah.
when does that happen?
We couldn't do plays because we didn't have a theater department because the theater person slept with a student. So that went away.
Modesto, at it again. Okay.
But we did have a very successful speech and debate program, which I was in. So that had
Oh.
impromptu speaking, which eventually helped with improv. And then I also did this thing called humorous interp, which is where you like do like a 12 character play kind of by yourself in
Wow.
like 15. It's very weird looking. I just judged the Georgia State Championship for speech and debate and watched
Wow.
kids do it. It was really interesting.
Lots of actors from speech and debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd, a lot of people from Glee were on there. But so I did that, and that was
Humorous
like,
interp?
yeah,
That's amazing.
it's really fun.
Yeah,
and
I'm
it's so fun
impressed.
to watch when I judge this week to like see like, oh, I can see where I made certain mistakes, like where it doesn't translate or whatever. But so I did that, and then I don't know, and then I went to college and I hated it, and so I graduated early to audition once I got into the groundling school, and then I was just lying to myself like I'm going to be a writer because that seemed smarter than being an actor.
But where did you went to a really good school? Can you?
I went to Berkeley when I was in high school I did like a year of school while I was in high school. And then I went to UC Santa Barbara, which I loved. But I went to UC Santa Barbara, which I hated. Oh, did you
I
go
went
there?
One of
yeah.
the schools you went
Did
to.
you like it?
I eventually loved it.
Oh, yeah. I was in like political science. I never found my people.
I found my people hardcore.
Really?
And the man that I currently have a child with.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have friends that.
But it's hard.
Yeah.
College in general is hard and weird.
Maybe it was
goodness.
just because you weren't supposed to be there. You were supposed to be, going
Yeah.
to LA and just doing it.
I
Yeah.
was so always confused there. I was like, is this the world?
I went there once, and there was just a lot of, oh God, young drunk boys everywhere.
And so when were you, was this, how many years ago was this?
Sounds
Why
like these
were you
high
there?
sounds
Yeah, 'cause
similar
we
to these high
started
school
with high
boys you
school.
walked by. I don't know what's going
Well,
on
there's
today.
a part of Santa Barbara that is just filled. There's no cars.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just filled.
Isla Vista.
Isla Vista
Yes.
is what it's called.
You know,
gotta be
young, sweaty college men are a thing to behold.
That's
They've
true.
been throwing the ball around.
Now they're the right age.
They are the right age.
So you can say that
throwing
about
the
them.
ball around on a beach,
And they take their shirt off.
just glistening.
They
Yeah.
smell like salt and sweat.
All those houses that everyone lived in Santa Barbara are now falling into the water and
Yes.
receding. Which
Yeah.
is that was the best lesson that I learned was never buy a house on the beach. I laugh at all these Malibu homes about to fall into the
I
ocean.
mean,
Did you not know?
you gotta.
Did you not read about
You want to
receding
buy a
cliffs?
beach house? It needs to be a mile in to be
Yes.
safe.
Yeah.
To be safe.
Yeah.
But I think what we're getting here is Ginger's very intelligent.
brilliant.
Yes, clearly.
I feel like she's glossing over it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
dear God.
So you come to LA, you take classes at the Groundlings, you think you're going to be a writer, but then at some point you start auditioning, or how does that happen?
Yeah, there was a wait list for Writers Lab that was like 3 years long when I was there.
Yeah.
And then that secretly became 6 months because, I don't know, someone helped me out. I don't know how that happened. But
Oh, we hear about this Groundlings place, but we
Yeah,
know
yes,
a lot
it's
of people
yeah.
have been
we're
here
we're
from the
gearing up
Groundlings.
to go.
You
We'll
should-
go.
we tried.
you should
but
see
Yeah.
a show.
They
Yeah.
tried,
very,
but they
smart people.
But they
there.
went in and they do their own thing. They don't improvise. This is why they haven't been able to pass the audition.
Oh, you had your own pre-written
They have
monologue?
shtick because they don't
Yeah.
trust it.
Yeah.
I'm a journalist.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
maybe it's not
I
for
don't-
you to go.
Yeah.
there.
Characters. I did try I said, I'm a genie in a bottle. Gotta rub me the right way.
Uh-huh. And were you looking at a high school boy when you said this? Or
Yes, I
Yeah.
was.
It
Yes,
a
I
young-
was.
young guy.
And
in
they
the
said, and I said,
audition.
that's my genie. That's my genie character.
And they said, what the problem with that is that the suggestion was, Disneyland.
yeah.
That's right.
But I guess
I had
there's a genie
prepared.
there.
I
see
prepared
the
a genie.
connection.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, and
But you had
I
prepared.
prepared it,
Yeah.
Yeah, she knew she was going to say it no matter what the suggestion
and I thought,
was.
how funny,
Yes.
how
and-
funny this
yeah.
will be.
Did
no-
you
but-
workshop it anywhere beforehand?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I'm still learning about this.
Did anybody laugh?
No.
Who was your person running the audition?
Harmony.
Harmony McElligott. Yeah. It's a wonderful Irish name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice guy. I'm sorry he had to sit through that.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so
I like the character.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
you.
so you're waiting for writing lab.
Yes. Then
Are
I-
you putting pen to paper? Are you writing things in that time, or are you
Yes.
starting to audition already?
Because there was a wait list, I was like, oh, there goes doing more Groundlings improv stuff. So then I started doing stand up, and then I got a commercial agent from that. And then I started booking commercials, which was like, oh, I can make money at this, and
Yeah.
it's acting.
What was your
Yeah.
stand-up like angle?
I think at the time in the very beginning, it was like very. I had a lot of like political stuff.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to hear this, but you can't. You don't understand. I don't think you understand how loud that is when a person's talking. You got to keep the bag away from the microphone.
A pre-open, and it's just a very loud snack.
Yeah, it's a loud snack.
Popcorners, because they're made of corn.
Are you doing a commercial
Yeah, but
for
they don't look like a
popcorners?
corner.
If they want to sponsor us, that would be great.
Okay. Can you take a break? Okay. Political stuff. You were doing
Yeah,
political
I
stuff.
think so. I remember. I mean, this is forever ago, and yeah, I kind of like got really lucky, and I didn't understand how privileged I was, in that I was like the girl every Saturday at the Improv, and I thought that was normal, and so I was very lucky. I was just like, on Saturdays I do the Improv, and I'm the only girl, and I hated the environment so much, especially back in this was like 2007.
Yeah.
What was it
Just
like?
toxic.
Oh.
I think one of the people who ran the show has now been taken off every platform because of how severely racist he is. And he was a successful comedian, but he's like PayPal. He's blocked from PayPal, and so that his Patreon can't make money. Yeah, it was just a dark world of lots of really drunk comedians.
Look at you getting up there.
Yeah.
It's,
I think not knowing is
and do
probably
whatever
good.
you do, Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld jokes.
I remember at the time there was a lot of like border crossing stuff. So I remember I had some bits about that. Then I thought it was Sacha Baron Cohen, and I started doing a lot of stuff in character, maybe dangerously so. I don't know. I auditioned for American Idol in character. I would go to like Universal Studios in character and have my friend, we'd pay for tickets. I'd have my friend filming me on the ride. I would hop off the ride like illegally and do all this stuff. And I wouldn't get arrested because I was acting like my Filipino grandma. So I would act so foreign that they would be like, this girl doesn't know what she's doing. And
don't know.
Yeah, I would find some random PA, and he would bring me back to the where I needed to be, and I would really commit to it. So if a PA found me somewhere I shouldn't have been on the Universal lot, a PA would like put me in his car, and I would pretend like I was afraid of the golf cart, and I would cling to him. So he was having some weird. Like, I was like, no one's filming that part, by the way.
And you could do all this with a straight face.
I think I think that's the only thing that ever helped me not break, because when I did do the Groundlings, I was cracking up all the time. And I remember Minnie Sterling, I love her so much. She was one of my teachers, and I remember one time she screamed at me, "You're witty, but you need to stop laughing." And all I took from that was Minnie Sterling said I was witty. Yeah. But I was like, how can I not giggle? Because everyone was so funny.
Yeah.
And then, but in real life situations, you're just like, I don't know. You kind of have to, because everything I was doing was a little bit illegal.
Yeah.
I needed to commit.
You would have been great on Punked.
Oh, I auditioned for that. Yes. Do you know anyone that was on Punked?
Not really. But they missed out.
They really did.
You know, at the time, the guy who ran it, his thing was to like haze kind of the people that were auditioning. I think I had done like 10 auditions. He was like notoriously mean. And then I remember at my final callback, he was whispering my instructions, and I was like, I can't hear what you're saying, but I was supposed to not get frustrated by that,
Right.
But I didn't know that was like my test, and so
I see.
Then he was like, "Well, you cracked," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't hear what you're saying."
Ugh.
I guess I won't work with
Hey,
you.
give me this guy's name and address. I'll pay him a visit.
Does it rhyme with Pashton Snutcher?
It wasn't Passion Snitcher. I think it was Nason Noldberg or something was his name. He was married to Soleil Moonfry. I don't care. He's notoriously not nice.
Punky
Interesting.
Brewster.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now,
I'm furious.
okay.
All right. So you're basically.
But if I did give you this person's name and address, what would you do if you paid him a visit?
I would probably do something that's kind of gonna cost him a lot of money, but won't hurt anybody.
Okay, good.
You know, some kind of
Clever.
water in the house.
Ah.
You know, get it into the walls and the ceilings.
Ooh, you're
Yeah,
maniacal.
something like that. That'd be like, oh God, now we got to take apart the whole house. We got to move. We got to do all this.
Yeah.
There's mold, and
Yes.
She's
know.
been known to pee in a pool too.
Sure.
Oh, I'll be in a pool all day
Yeah.
long. Yeah. I mean, I think there's chlorine in there, so I have a, who
Yeah,
cares?
we're good.
Okay, so all right, so then you're doing it. You're auditioning for commercials.
Yes.
You're making some money now as
Yeah,
an actor, and you're waiting for Groundlings writing level. And you know, when do you kind of slide into theatrics?
I think I got I wonder how I did that. I'm like wondering what, I don't know. I guess I started getting guest star auditions. My very first one, I don't know. I booked like a Wayne Brady improv show. And that was two of my first projects just died right away. The Wayne Brady thing was an improvised thing where we were punking people.
Yes.
And then the day that I got to that job, then the woman who we were punking her husband, she felt guilty. So she ruined the entire thing. And there were like 150 extras and they lost all this money. But all I cared is that I lost my first real job. And then I got another job with Taran Killam and Mikey Day. And then the first day of production of that, where we were reviewing movie shows, it got canceled. Like I think
First day?
Yeah, it was something weird. Like Nick Cannon walked in and was like, yeah, no, JK, it's now, it's not happening anymore. And I remember for so many years, Taran felt very bad about that.
Maybe it's because you were calling them movie shows.
Movie shows.
Both Taran and Mikey are Groundling alum and Saturday Night Live people.
Yes.
Say that again.
Saturday Night Live people.
Yeah. We've heard of them.
Yeah. I bet you auditioned for Saturday Night Live.
I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
I wish I had. I think I sent in a tape. And but that would have been I wanted to.
I mean, I
think
feel
it's
like
not
you
too late.
also still could.
Yeah.
But
true.
do you even want that life
Now
anymore? I mean, it's probably more fun to do.
That's a hard life.
It never sounds healthy.
No.
Yeah.
Like late
Knock
nights.
Yeah.
It's a hard knock life.
Yeah.
It's a hard knock life.
People
for
have
sure.
spoken about the lowest times of their life.
Yes, yeah. I've
Sure.
never heard anyone come out of there being like,
I feel great.
Yes,
I feel healthy.
it really fed me.
Mentally and physically.
Yeah,
Sure. All right. So what would you say then, you had those two, things that didn't go.
Yeah.
What was when did you go like, oh, but here's the break. Here's the thing.
Well, I started, you know what I did that was clever? I got fired from Buchwald. Or I didn't get fired. My agent got fired from Buchwald.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did, he was like, screw those guys. You want the Buchwald password? So this was an agency. And I was like, yes, I do. So I was my own agent through Buchwald for at least a year. Their password was Yolanda. It was their receptionist. And I would submit myself with glowing reviews of how wonderful I was.
Wait.
And I tested for things. Because they weren't going to say no if an audition came in. And it was always some assistant that just called me. And they're like, oh, you haven't, like I wasn't on their roster. And so I started getting like real auditions myself. Secretly, it's the greatest thing ever.
How did they not know you were doing
This
this?
opens up a whole new world to us.
This is what you guys got to do.
They just, I don't know. I was hip pocketed to begin with. So I was never really a client, but they kind of knew of me. And then when
So they
one
were like,
would,
maybe someone still's working with her?
and I
or
think
what's
when
happening?
I guess they had to email you the auditions, but it was always an assistant that emailed them to me. But also I could see if I had the audition because I had the password. So maybe that's what it was. So I think if I had a big callback, they would call me and they're like, well, we want to make the money if she does this.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I got close for, I don't know if I booked one little horror movie where I was like trapped in a chicken coop or something. And
Chickens are scary.
But then and then eventually I got an agent and I started getting guest stars and stuff. I don't know. But I did a lot of like weird things where like, because I could see the breakdowns. So because I still had their password once I got a real agent and manager. And I would say, hey, I saw this role. I know it's written for someone who's 50, but it seems like she's just a femme fatale. Can I do it? And I would be 25 and they would let me audition and I would be the only weird 25-year-old that auditioned. And so I would stand out and they'd be like, I don't know, that's a cool choice. And then I would get things that way. I would flip age and gender all the time.
I don't know if it would.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would work the opposite to go like, is a 25-year-old? Hey, I'm 50, but think about it. Could be a cool way to go. We should try.
Here's another option.
Here's another option. You two should try that.
Who's to say we're close to that age?
I'll say it.
So you're like a boundary pusher. Yeah.
I guess.
A boundary
Yeah.
pusher.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think
no one knows what they're doing anyways, so whatever.
Well, that's,
Right.
that's
Right.
exactly right. And back to, growing up in Modesto, where you there's nothing. This town has nothing to offer me. I'm going to climb inside a refrigerator box
Yes.
and entertain myself with my friends.
Remember
and
that
I feel
song?
like you're
I'm
still.
living in a box. I'm living in a cardboard box.
Is that a real song?
Yeah.
I've never.
Oh my gosh, is it about me?
It might be.
Was I
real
You need to
fun.
amused?
listen to it.
I want to touch back on something you mentioned, which was the chicken coop
Yeah.
from the horror movie. Just to
Yes.
throw out there, when I was born, it was a chicken farm.
Okay.
And I was born, and I spent a lot of time in the areas between where the chickens were born and then when they were slaughtered.
No, that's terrible.
Well, I got to be with them in their prime of life. But the horrors of that
That's
is
so
very real.
sad.
Yeah, thank
Did
you.
you name them?
Thank you. Always.
No.
Yeah, thank you.
What's when? Do you have an idea of like? Do you have an example of a cute name that you gave a cute little chick?
I was kind of on like an Italian thing. Celestino
Yeah.
was one of the names.
Yeah.
And like Andriano and things like this. And later I went to Italy and everything came full circle.
What are you
Because you
thanking
ate a lot
her
of chicken
for?
cacciatore.
Just seeing me, because I feel like it's hard to be. You know, people, we all just want to be seen.
Sure.
You know,
I've seen
and you're
memes
happy
like
to
that.
be seen as someone who's experienced chicken carnage.
basically,
Chicken
yes.
trauma.
Did you have to see the death of the chickens or just know about
I
them?
didn't see it.
Yeah.
No, I never saw it. Thank God.
But the screaming of the chickens.
The squimming and the beaks.
No.
Squimming and the beaks. Yeah.
This is
Screaming.
later. We're going to talk
Squimming and the
about
beaks.
what you just did with a guest. Why you had to go back to tell us
Because
that.
I feel like she got this part and she's in a chicken cage and
Oh,
she
that's-
could get it.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
She had to be in the cage.
I was in a cage.
Now, we are trying to become, maybe. We're not sure. We have what it takes, frankly. But no, did you have to audition inside of a chicken cage?
I didn't audition inside of a chicken cage. I didn't know I was going to be in a chicken cage. Oh, I remember my audition though. Because everyone started crying. It was really weird. I had to pretend like I was tied up and that I was making a video to tell my family like where I was and to come and get me. And it was all improvised. But instead, I did the audition telling my family that I was okay.
Oh.
And it was this like sad, like everything's like peace so that they would have peace when they saw the video. And then everyone in the room was crying and it was like really, really weird. And I was like, I'm fine. And it was just, yeah. And then they made me cry so much in this movie. And when I was in the chicken coop, I had a snot bubble.
What's the name of the movie?
They never finished it because they didn't like our
no.
bad guy. Yeah. It was with one of the guys. It was with one of these actors who eventually started his own cult, like kombucha cult.
Here's a
Woody
through line.
Harrelson?
Here's a through line in your life, which is like there's a lot of weird men hanging around who are now canceled.
Yeah,
you got some of
yes,
those.
I have.
Yeah.
I'm
several.
sad that movie was never out because people need to know about the chickens, coops,
Yes.
and things like
yeah.
this.
It was scary.
Oh, but see, that's where your smarts comes in too. You probably
You
heard
made a
everyone
different
else's
choice.
audition,
Mhm.
and you thought,
I actually think you made that sounds like a comedic choice, but then it wasn't. It was
Yeah, it
actually
is a big
sad,
kind
which
of
is kind of
sad.
fun.
mhm.
Pulling at the
Comedians are the
heartstrings.
saddest people.
Very, very true.
It's true.
Yeah. So there's some big then shows that start happening in your life.
Yeah, I got to host a show for Hulu, and then I got to, I don't know. Oh, I guess I did my first series in 2013, which was fun. Except they didn't let the women improvise.
Only the men?
The boys got
Which series
to.
is that?
Mixology.
Right.
And I also had to say a line. Larry Charles was the director, which was very exciting. But my character had to say a line. I'm mean to a guy, and then I go, "See that? A real man would have smacked me in the mouth." And this was my first job ever, like real big job. And I was so nervous walking up to Larry Charles to be like, I don't think anyone should say this. Also, it's not funny. And so I got all the bravery up, wondering if I was going to be fired because I had already replaced an actress. So I knew we were all on the chopping block. But I was like, no, it's important. I'm going to tell them. And then when I told him, I said it also in front of the female executives, and it was the female executives that told me to shut up.
No.
Yeah, and go say the line. And they couldn't believe I had the audacity to speak up.
To question. it.
Yeah, and I had to really dig and find a way that I could like justify saying that. And sure enough, the line got reamed by reviews. They were like, "Why would anyone?" It was awful.
Oh, I hate
I want
those
the names
women.
of those women too. I'm gonna wreak some havoc in their lives.
Yeah.
We're only like halfway through your life, and I feel like you could write a book. Ginger.
I do
Yeah,
too.
I think,
Goodness
I think you could.
stories.
Yeah. If you can believe it.
No.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's true though. I don't want it to be true, but it's true. We're coming upon the time when we got to start to think about wrapping up. We just got to think about it. We don't have to do it right this second, but we got to start thinking about it. What recently are you, kind of proud of, or you would say, hey, go check me out in this or check me out in that? Is there anything that you love that you've done recently?
I'm proud of a short film that I made with Jason Ritter that during the pandemic I put online, and it got like 3.5 million views.
Whoa,
and it's like
holy mackerel.
It's a very, very sad but very like beautiful and sweet film, and I love seeing like people be affected by it. I had this weird effect during all film festivals where men would come up to me crying, and it was just like they'd be like, I haven't cried in this many years, and it was always so sweet and weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
You didn't say to them, a real man would have slapped me in the face.
The real man would have smacked me. But here you are.
What is it
sniffling.
called?
It's called Your Day. And it's on YouTube on a site called Omeletto that has like a lot festival films. Yeah. And then I loved doing She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. I mean, come on.
It was so
good.
fun.
Is there chit chat about a second season?
I don't think so. I don't know what's going on with Marvel. I wish. We all loved it. I loved playing with Tatiana and this actor Josh Segura. We were like platonic best friends on the show, and it was so fun. And it's fun being. I've never been involved in something with a budget like that. It's like, oh wow, and you learn so much.
The snacks must have been.
Oh, the snacks. Oh, the food. There's so much food, and you're so active.
Yeah,
you have to eat all the time.
Yeah,
because for whatever reason, my character didn't even fight, and they had us training.
Yeah,
so I was just like, okay.
Yeah,
and you're
really?
always,
everyone should be fit.
I can tell.
You got to be fit in the Marvel.
Yeah,
we
you
have
could.
some snacks here.
You
too.
could.
Yeah, she always stays.
This is for vitamin C.
Oh, I love that.
And,
she's
didn't
always-
you? Didn't I see that you are in a new incarnation of one of my favorite films, True Lies?
I did a series of True Lies, but it is no more. But we did a season, and it was really fun. This actor Steve Howey was my Harry, and it was fun.
I liked it. I watched it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's stupid that there's not another season.
I will say we improvised a way funnier show, but they didn't use it.
They didn't use it.
And
of
we were
course.
like so proud of it.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh,
they weren't
just
interested.
cookie
No,
cuttered.
thanks.
They
Yeah.
just went like paint by numbers. Like they didn't even know some of the things that I was like, why? We made it so fun.
People don't understand how much perseverance you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it hard being smarter than most people though?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would think she is.
I appreciate you saying
That's a tough thing to
If I can
answer.
answer honestly, I would say yes.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
awful.
Because you can
Yeah.
kind of see, see
Yes.
like if you do it this way, here's what the path's going to be. People
Yes.
like wake up.
And then
And it-
navigating ego. Just
Sure.
so I was saying to a friend the other day, it was like, I feel like you have to trick people into letting you do something that will benefit them.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or trick them into making them feel like they thought
They
of it
did
first.
Who cares?
But it's very subversive because you show up and you're very beautiful and you
Aw,
exude fun, and then you're coming in with the smarts too, and it's almost probably too much for people to handle. I would think.
Sometimes I don't think it's. I know how to. You got to, and as a woman, you know,
Oh,
guys, you got to be
sure.
so nice. Got to make sure nobody's offended.
Ugh.
You know,
Not me. That's not how I do it.
Yeah, we got to be
No.
more like you.
Yeah.
I
How
don't
did
care.
you
Yeah, how did the two of you
meet?
meet?
By the way.
Oh,
Well, I was one of her trainers for She-Hulk.
yeah,
Well,
Really?
That makes sense.
yeah. And she restricted my food. Yeah.
Well,
I like them thin. I like ladies
yeah.
thin.
She did this to Andrew Leeds also.
That's
Who's not a lady.
Oh.
That's right.
He was a child.
He was
so-
a child. He was getting chubby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was a child actor.
She likes them
Yeah.
thin and
I learned
muscled.
that.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
like muscly and thin. But yes,
Yeah.
but sorry. I should
It
say I
all
probably
worked out.
apologize. Okay, good.
I ate a lot.
Okay, good.
On the
Since
side.
then? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. All right. Well, what we like to do to end with is we like to say, if you were going to give advice to, let's say a little kid in Modesto,
Yeah.
wearing a refrigerator box, or just anyone who, maybe dreams of something different for their
Yeah.
life. What would your advice be?
My advice would be get out of Modesto. And also, your gut is feeling that way for a reason. I don't think anyone has those thoughts or desires without it being part of their purpose, So if it's tickling your brain, then you got to follow it because other people don't have those same thoughts. Some people are like,
Some people
I'm
are just,
comfy
I'm happy
here."
to be here.
Yeah. Or like, I really want to go to Washington State and work for Microsoft. And then so they're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So
Yeah.
your gut and your brain.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm inspired by you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I
I'm
am
inspired
too.
by you
No,
guys.
Especially as a fellow multi-ethnic woman. I'm very
Yes.
inspired.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everybody.
You're the
Ginger.
chickens of this industry.
Okay,
yeah, we're
great.
the chickens of the biz.
Let's give it up for Ginger.
Thank you.
Gonzaga.
Thank you,
Ginger. Chat.
Ginger.
Gonzaga. Multiple Talking Women is hosted by Lauren Burns, Ariane Price, and Lisa Shurga, and produced by Cara Fano and Amelia Misko at Stampede Ventures for the Stampede Podcast Network. Okay, I'm done now.